So something that has like kept coming up for me this morning during my, my doom scroll, not really, like just during like my morning like check-in on social media while I'm sipping my coffee. I just like, it was really interesting to me. One, I mean, this is kind of my algorithm, but you see one side and then you see the other side. And it's almost like, I don't know if everyone's algorithm is like this, but mine, every other video, it's like, oh, like this astrological take about Saturn retrograde, and then the next video will be the exact opposite. And it's just like everyone fighting for views one way or another, whether it's like the fear-mongering, like pop astrology stuff, or it's the, the traditionalists who are like, actually, which like as an actually person, irritates the living shit out of me. Because like I've just gotten to this point where, especially like online, I'm like, two things can be true at the same time. This like more like modern evolutionary pop astrology take can be true, and so can this like traditional take. Okay, two things can be true at the same time, and this like intellectual like superiority, like competition shit, like I can't handle. Like, it's one thing to be informative, and it's someone who as an Aquarius who definitely kind of has that attitude. Like, I'm not gonna deny like myself, and where like I say things, or like inform people, be like if something's wrong, it's wrong. But most of the time I'm like, that could potentially also be true in the spectrum, but it's not gonna be true for everybody. And I think like that's like the point that people are missing, is it's like, well, this karmic retribution side, that could very well like be true. It may not be true for you though, but everyone is like hoping it's for them. And it's like, well, if you're doing the work with Saturn or whatever, whatever you're doing, if you are on your path and you're doing the work, that may be true for you. But also, so will these like other, I forget like the off the top of my head, because I don't know, I fucking forgot. I'm early, it's sleepy. I'm sleepy. I'm still in my like dreamy haze, but like it's just something I get frustrated with. Like if we dealt with it with Mercury retrograde, we deal with it like with everything in astrology, but also like spiritual takes. There's a polarity to everything, and two things can be true at the same time. But how you experience the phenomena, it depends on where you land on the scale. And I think everyone thinks that they're going to land at a certain point on the scale until it happens, and then you see like where you land on the scale. Most of the time I'm not surprised where I land on the scale, because I'm doing the work. Like, I understand where my path is going, like all of the above, but I don't think people are as like dedicated or disciplined, and that's like, again, Saturn retrograde. So if you are not devoted and disciplined to your path, then you may not fully understand where you're going to be on the scale. And then these, contradicting parallels of like what potentially could happen in Saturn retrograde or Mercury retrograde, or the full moon in Aquarius, or whatever fucking transit you're associating yourself with. A lesson of Saturn, okay? You have to be dedicated and devoted and disciplined to your path, and then you'll understand that discernment, right? That center balance path of like where you're gonna be. So, but most people, it's just like, I'm not paying attention, and I'm just really glad that this really popular person gave me this message for the day. And I'm gonna lean into it, because like that's my bias. That's what I really wish. So again, like Saturn does not reward wishful thinking, but there are people who are not wishful thinking, who are dedicated, who are like, yeah, no, this like karmic retribution of this retrograde in alignment with the Aquarius full moon on top of like other transits. Like, it's a layered thing. So because multiple things are happening, not every Saturn retrograde is this like huge karmic like retribution and like turning of the wheel, but like I can see why there would be a decent chunk of that, considering where this Aquarian full moon is hitting. So again, it's like the alignment of multiple things on top of two things can be true at the same time. So these like traditional takes of Saturn and like accountability and like other things you can see why people are expressing it in the colorful, hyperbolic way that they, or exaggerated way that they are, in the pop astrology world. Like, you have to be able to decipher, like, the pop astrology. And, like, why is that becoming the trendy hot take? Because there's a reason why that's building momentum, that we can't ignore. And it's like, oh, it's for views, it's for fear mongering, it's for this, it's for that. It's another test of Saturn to see how dedicated and disciplined and discerning you are about your own path and your own work, and like where you can be honest with yourself. Again, the accountability. So, needless to say, I don't know if any of that's like really like tracking or making sense, as I still feel really foggy this morning. But my main point is, two things can be true at the same time. And where I really don't like, again, I don't like the intellectual like warfare that doesn't have that understanding. Because like there's very rarely is there a balanced take. It's just everyone competing for, like, well, I'm more right than you. And it's like, well, how about everyone is like a little bit right? Like, and you're sharing your puzzle piece, and your puzzle piece is just as valuable as the other puzzle piece for the whole picture. I don't know why we're getting lost on that. And so like my message is a puzzle piece or a chunk of the grandiose message that everyone needs. And if you're collecting messages, then you should be weaving a beautiful picture. Like, the whole picture should like become clear. That's like the clarity. But everyone's too busy of like, oh, do I pick this puzzle piece or that puzzle piece? Well, you need fucking both if you want the whole picture. So I don't know why we're not accepting both truths, all perspectives that create the oneness, the wholeness. So that's like where I get like really frustrated on the internet. And then also where I get like difficult or extra long-winded, or it's like really difficult for me to share my own messages, because like it's just so draining. It's emotionally, mentally, and intellectually draining to have to like fight with people who can't understand that my portion of the message. I'm one person. I can only share and know and do so much, but that doesn't discredit my value, and it doesn't discredit the value of other people who are sharing their version of the message. And I think we need better discernment on these witch trials, this fucking witch hunt of like going after grifters who obviously are like doing it for like improper reasons, and versus the people who are just sharing their portion of the work with where they're at. And like, it's a spiral, right? So like everyone's on a different level of their journey. So just because they're on this phase of their journey doesn't mean you're better than them because you're now on this side of the ring, and that's something I've definitely learned like for myself. Like, just because I'm here doesn't mean I'm better than someone who is there. That's the whole point of like a teacher, right? You're gonna teach people. It's like a child. You're not like looking at a child like, oh, you're finally fucking walking. I've been walking for years, bitch. Like, you're not gonna treat a child like that. And if you do, something's wrong with you. But you get excited. It's like, yes, they're walking. I remember I remember my parents talking about my first steps. I remember the family videos, whatever. It's cool to see people at every phase of their journey, and it should be more endearing and like fun and like, yes, okay, they made that step. Keep going. Like, you're getting somewhere. But instead, you're like knocking people down for being at a certain level. And that part of the culture of the internet is just something that I really just want to dismantle. As someone who's been like trapped in the crosshairs of it multiple times, like, I'm fucking over it. So for my Saturn retrograde and all of this other fucking stuff going on, that's something that I want to put out there. And you can disagree with me depending on wherever you're at in your journey, but I know that there is valuable in my puzzle piece, and I know that there's value in everyone else's puzzle piece, even when it's like in a debate. I do like the game of tennis in intellectual debate, but we're missing the endearment and whimsy and joy for that curious discovery. And I think that is going to be the downfall of the spiritual community, which we're witnessing with all the fucking drama happening on this fucking app.